بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد.
In the name of God, the most merciful, the most compassionate.
وعلى آله الطيبين الأطهرين المنتجبين.
All praise belongs to God, Lord of the worlds.
خیلی خوش آمدید.
Blessings and peace be upon our master and prophet, Abul Qasim al-Mustafa Muhammad, and upon his pure, immaculate, chosen family, and upon God's loyal servants on earth.
در این گام‌های استواری که
Welcome, dear people of Tabriz and Azerbaijan, especially the youth,
مژده بخش اتصال نسلی
and especially the families of the martyrs. The presence of young people in these steadfast steps taken from Azerbaijan toward this Husseini path is a great blessing. It strengthens the generational link between all past generations and today's generation of the revolution in the city of Tabriz and in Azerbaijan. This is among the greatest distinctions of your city and your province. Whenever, during the period of the revolution, I traveled to Tabriz or other cities of Azerbaijan, I always felt that there is a special distinction, a superiority in the emotions, outlook, and vision of these people that one rarely finds elsewhere. The event of the 29th of Bahman in the year 1356, 1978, is itself a historic sign and can never be forgotten. Timeliness, acting at the right moment, and sacrifice are among the characteristics of that event. May God have mercy on the late Imam of the city, Ayatollah al-Hashem. May God be pleased with him. He explained these characteristics well, and I myself witnessed them firsthand during one of my visits. My main recommendation at the very beginning is this: do not lose this sense of timeliness. Do not lose this timely presence. This is a great distinction. Azerbaijan is alive, and vibrant. It has life, a living and spirited nation. Praise be to God, you have preserved this sense of timeliness and awareness of the moment. This year, on the 22nd of Bahman, according to reports given to us, participation increased in all cities. In Tabriz, participation doubled compared to previous years. My dear ones, today's meeting is an exceptional meeting. It is different from other years. This year was a strange year. This year was a year in which the Iranian nation, in several stages and phases, demonstrated its determination, its will, its firm resolve, and its capabilities, and displayed them openly. From the 12-day war to the very recent days, today, of course, we are also on the threshold of the month of Ramadan, which is also a blessing of these sacred days. This year, the people of our country, and among them you brave people of Azerbaijan, succeeded in making Iran stand tall and making your country dignified. When I say made it stand tall, this is not just a phrase. This is what our officials report when they travel to other countries on political missions. They say that today, in the eyes of the politicians we meet, Iran has acquired a special prominence. And this is because of this steadfastness and this display of strength. Today, I will speak about two issues. One is about the sedition that took place about a month and a few days ago. This must be spoken about and analyzed. I spoke about this briefly a few days ago, and today I will speak briefly again. But those who are people of analysis and thought must work on this more deeply. The second topic is about America, this civilization and system that is in decline. In fact, this empire is collapsing. I will speak about America in the coming Fridays as well. Regarding this sedition, let me tell you one thing, my dear ones. What happened was a coup that failed. It was not that a few young or non-young people got angry in some places and carried out some actions or protests or disturbances. No, it was more than that. It was coups. But these coups were crushed under the feet of the Iranian nation. In short, this is what happened. The intelligence and espionage services of two countries, the United States and occupied Palestine, meaning the illegitimate Zionist regime, with the help of the intelligence services of some other countries, some of which we know, over time identified a number of thugs or people with criminal tendencies inside our country. They took them, gave them money, gave them weapons, trained them in sabotage, trained them in infiltrating military centers or government centers, and then sent them into Iran to wait for an opportunity, so that whenever any opportunity arose, they would begin their work. Their work involved manipulating simple-minded people, young and non-young alike, agitating them, pushing them into entering hard confrontations. This opportunity presented itself about a month and a half ago, and they entered the field. They pushed inexperienced, simple-hearted youths forward. Where? Towards sensitive centers, military centers, infrastructure centers, fuel depots, and sensitive military and government facilities. They sent them there. Meanwhile, they themselves entered the field armed with various weapons. Handguns, personal weapons, rifles, grenades, and the like. Their policy and method was that the movement should be violent and reckless, like the movement of Daesh. They decided to act brutally. Therefore, they burned people alive, killed children in their fathers' arms, carried out brutal acts, and a number of our compatriots, regrettably, passed away and lost their lives because of these actions. What was their goal? Their goal was to weaken and shake the foundations of the system, seize sensitive centers, seize the national broadcaster, and carry out such actions. This is what they wanted to do. In the face of them stood the police forces, the Basij, the IRGC, and many young people who were not formally Basij members or IRGC members. Some confronted them empty-handed, some were martyred. But what happened in the end? Whether the enemy accepts it or not, these coups that they had prepared inside the country, with all this effort, all this expense, and all this planning, were crushed and failed. This is a very important event. It is not a small matter. What happened was the defeat of the enemy and the victory of the Iranian nation. Then came the 22nd of Bahman, which was truly a divine sign, this massive and dense presence of the people. This was the continuation of that policy of resistance. I do not want to tell you what to do, but I want to say that the Iranian nation, which has been able to emerge victorious from the enemy's malice and plots in this way, must preserve this victory with preparedness, vigilance, and national unity. Blood was shed. We are in mourning. We grieve for the blood that was spilled. Some of those killed were among the corrupt elements, the seditionists, and the coup plotters themselves. Some of them were those whom their appointed time did not allow to escape, and they were cast into hell. Their affair is with God, and we have nothing to do with them. But there were others who were not like them. There were three categories of the dead, and those who lost their lives. One group were the defenders of security and defenders of the health of the system, police forces, Basij forces, IRGC forces, and those young people who stood alongside them. They were martyred. They are among the greatest martyrs. The second group were passers-by. When a seditionist creates unrest inside cities, it is not only those who confront them who are harmed. Innocent people walking in the streets, going to their workplace or home, were struck and killed. These too are martyrs because they were killed in the enemy's sedition. No matter where the bullet came from, they were killed in the context of the enemy's plot. The third group were those who were deceived, who acted naively, who were inexperienced, who walked a few steps alongside the seditionists. I say, they too are ours. They are our children. Some of them regretted their actions. Some wrote letters to me saying, "We came out to the streets that day. We did this and that. Forgive us." Some were not even in prison. They were free. They regretted it and made a mistake. Those among them who were killed, the officials considered them martyrs as well, and they did the right thing. So the circle of those we count as martyrs is broad, except for the main agents of sedition, the ringleaders, and those who took money and weapons from the enemy. All others, whether defenders of security, passers-by, or even those who walked a few steps with the seditionists, are our children. We ask God for mercy and forgiveness for them. They made mistakes, And God
تا که در
willing,
نهایت
God
شد،
will
در
forgive
نهایت
those mistakes.
چه قبول بکنه دشمن چه قبول نکنه این کودتایی که با این
Just as a phenomenon was created by the Americans called Daesh, and the Americans themselves admitted that they created Daesh with specific methods, and Daesh has now more or less been eliminated. This new group are the new Daeshes. We must be vigilant. The officials in one way, the people in another way, and the youth in particular must be alert. Who speaks to them? Who makes suggestions to them? If any of the main corrupt elements are still inside the country, and some are, they must be pursued, punished, and tried. The people demand this. The security and judicial institutions are obligated to deal with those who cooperate with the enemy, whether in action, in speech, or in analysis, and echo the enemy's voice. They must deal with them judicially and fairly. I am not in favor of unjust harshness, but unjust leniency, like unjust harshness, harms the country. Therefore, in my view, the future plan of America against the Islamic Republic will be this kind of operation, this style of work. But I am certain that by God's grace, any such movement will be destroyed by the Iranian nation. Without doubt, this nation is alive, awake, and prepared. As for the declining American empire, it is truly in decline. They have economic problems, political problems, and social problems. More than 50% of the American people do not accept their current president. These are the problems of a country drowning in crisis. Our issue with America is that they want to dominate Iran. The Iranian nation stands in their way. The Islamic Republic stands in their way. They seek domination over the Iranian nation. The statements made by the American president, sometimes threatening, sometimes ordering that this must be done and that must not be done, all mean that they are pursuing domination over the Iranian nation. The Iranian nation knows its Islamic and Shiite lessons well. It knows what to do. Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, said, "Someone like me does not pledge allegiance to someone like Yazid." The Iranian nation says that a nation like us, with this culture, this history, and these lofty teachings, will not pledge allegiance to corrupt leaders, like those who today rule in America. Everything we had heard about their corruption was one side of the story. This infamous and corrupt island is another side of it. These people are representatives of Western civilization. This is what we mean when we speak about Western civilization and Western liberal democracy. 200 or 300 years of movement leads to this kind of outcome. This is one example. This island is one example. Many such matters exist, and just as this one became apparent, many others will also become apparent. Regarding America, the American government's propaganda environment and the Zionist media active in America are almost entirely threatening in tone toward Iran. We will do this, we will do that.
پشیمان شدن. اشتباه
The
کردن.
people of Tabriz and many of the Iranian nation answered these threats on the 22nd of Bahman.
شهید محسوب
You
کردن.
showed that threats do not work. Threats produce the opposite effect and create motivation. The massive presence of the people on the 22nd of Bahman answered many of the meaningless and absurd statements made by the current American leaders. They themselves know very well that when they threaten war and confrontation, they do not have the capacity for such confrontation. Their economic problems, political problems, and international credibility do not allow them to sustain such a clash. They know this. They know what kind of future awaits them if they make such a mistake. One of the signs of the decline of the corrupt and oppressive American empire is their irrationality. They act without logic. A government, when it does something, should have a rationale behind it. They do not. One example of their irrationality is their interference in our internal affairs. They want to interfere in Iran's internal matters. One of our internal matters that matters greatly to them is our defense capabilities. We must possess deterrent capabilities. A country that does not have deterrent capabilities will be crushed under the feet of its enemies. Deterrent capabilities are among the obligations of our nation. The Americans interfere unjustly in this matter. Whether we have such and such missiles or not, whether we have such and such range or not, what business is it of yours? This is related to the Iranian nation. Another issue is peaceful nuclear energy. Peaceful nuclear energy is not for war. It is for running the country, for agriculture, medicine, and healthcare, energy, and everything that depends on energy. The Iranian nation is doing its own work. What business is it of yours? What you say is our inalienable right. This is written in the treaties and regulations of the International Atomic Energy Agency itself. All countries have the right to have nuclear facilities inside their countries, including enrichment. So why do the Americans interfere? This shows the disorder and imbalance in the thinking of today's American leaders. More astonishing is that they interfere and then say, "Come negotiate with us about your nuclear energy." And the result of the negotiation is predetermined that you must not have this energy. Negotiation, negotiation, negotiation. But if negotiation is to take place, then the outcome must not be predetermined. Determining the outcome in advance is foolish and wrong. You say, "Come talk so we can reach agreement on the framework and the subject." But then you predetermine the result. This foolish action is being carried out by American presidents, senators, and others. They do not think that the road is closed for them. They repeatedly say that the American army is the strongest army in the world. The strongest army in the world can sometimes be slapped so hard that it cannot stand up again. They keep saying, "We have sent a carrier toward Iran." Yes, a carrier is a dangerous machine, but more dangerous than a carrier is the weapon that can send that carrier to the bottom of the sea.
من عرض بکنم اون روزم گفتم
The American president recently said that for 47 years, America has not been able to eliminate the Islamic Republic, and he complained about this to his own people. This is a good confession. I say, you will not be able to do it in the future either. The Islamic Republic means a living nation. The Islamic Republic is not a government separate from the people. The Islamic Republic is the Iranian nation. This nation is standing firm. This nation is steadfast. This nation is ready to work, strive, and struggle for its own progress. And praise be to God, it has progressed in these 47 years. On the day when the Islamic Republic was a thin sapling, you could not uproot it. Today, praise be to God, the Islamic Republic is a blessed, tall, fruitful tree. In concluding my remarks, I tell our dear government officials and respected authorities, however much effort you make, you must double it. We have many capabilities. The existence of this level of inflation in the country is illogical. The collapse of the national currency to this extent is illogical. This must be corrected, and God willing, it will be corrected. The respected officials have begun work, but they must continue with seriousness, precision, and comprehensive attention. They must address people's livelihood problems, calm the business environment. If there are threats, by God's grace, there are threat-neutralizing mechanisms as well. People must live their lives, pursue their education, and conduct their business and trade without anxiety. The country must have an environment of calm, self-confidence, and tranquility. God willing, God will send down peace and tranquility upon the hearts of this dear people and grant success to the officials to fulfill their duties. I thank the dear families of the martyrs who traveled this long path to be present here. God willing, may they all be successful, and may God unite these dear martyrs with the Prophet. Peace be upon you, and God's mercy and blessings.
تهدید میکنه.